All right, y'all. So I just needed to make another video real quick. Something else that I thought I had mentioned in my other video, but after listening to it, I was like, oh, I forgot this part. So here's the other thing I wanted to kind of, put perspective on here. So we're working under the assumption that Pels are going to keep Lonzo Ball. Granted, it's possible they could trade him. I highly doubt it. Because if let me just put it like this: if you're gonna trade Lonzo, they must be getting someone young back at point guard, or they just decided, fuck it, we just gonna draft a point guard, we're gonna get rid of Lonzo, and blah 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 blah. Doesn't make much sense to me. But because if Lonzo is already, you know, a 4 year player with NBA experience, if you're gonna go younger, then you're basically starting that process over again. You might as well keep Lonzo. But let's assume they keep Lonzo. Well, now you got point guard veteran leadership. So if they're gonna keep, let's just say they keep Nickeil Alexander Walker too. Maybe they decide to make him a permanent fixture at the shooting guard and they start him, which is something I didn't mention in the other video, but it's always been like in the back of my head. Now you got guards who can basically, that one, first of all, there'll be veteran leadership in the locker room, which is phenomenal on that team. You lose Drew, you still got JJ and Fave to some degree if Fave comes back. But if they ship off Etorn or they lose Etorn, you just brought in two replacements for veteran leadership, right? More importantly, George Hill was on that team with Paul George, David West, Roy Hibbert that took Miami Heatles to 7 before they won a title. He has playoff experience. He's 34 years old. He has real life experience, right? He understands the business and everything. He would be a great mentor in that locker room to like Nickeil Alexander Walker and Lonzo. Um, so would Bledsoe too. But let's just talk about George Hill. Because George Hill was somebody I actually wanted on the team as a backup. I didn't think they were going to be able to get him or pull him. I didn't think Milwaukee was going to let him go, but they did. I'm surprised. So, George Hill is going to be a lot of help to Lonzo. Now, he's not going to go out there and get you 20-something a game. But George Hill knows he's 34 years old. He knows his time in the NBA is limited. He is going to prop up Lonzo. He's be like, look, man, go out there, play your game. Don't worry about all that extra. Don't worry about that excess noise. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. Hold on, let me turn the volume off of that. Sorry. So he's going to prop up Lonzo in ways that Drew really couldn't. Because George Hill isn't going to threaten him for the starting position. His main thing is to come in and fill his role, which he's good at. He's a pro's pro. That's going to be invaluable to Lonzo. I'm not saying that they didn't have that on the team last year in some form, but it's like Lonzo recounted his time in the Lakers with Rondo and how he learned so much from Rondo and LeBron because they both basically all kind of in somewhat play the same position as far as skill set is concerned. But how to be a pro's pro, he learned from Rondo. Now he's going to get it from a different perspective from George Hill. Now Rondo is a champion twice. He's proven. George Hill is a proven starting caliber point guard that understands the game and how to run and initiate offenses and play the game the right way. He's going to go a long way to helping push Lonzo along. See, if you were to go get Malcolm Brogdon, Malcolm Brogdon is closer to Lonzo's age. Malcolm Brogdon can do a lot of the same stuff that Lonzo could do. And he would be competing with him for that spot, which it's not a bad thing to have competition. But now comes the pressure, okay, if I don't perform, they're going to bench me. Now, you could sit here and say, well, that's true, even with, George Hill. But George Hill's not going to come in and be like, I'm trying to take your spot, young dog. His thing is like, look, man, You're the point guard of this team going forward. Go out there and perform. Don't worry about all the other nonsense. If you get this, if you see the mid range shot, take it. If they're gonna give it to you, take it. You don't. He's gonna be this man, bro. You don't always have to just pass the ball. You can score. You can take some scoring shots for yourself to get yourself situated in the beginning of the game, and you can feed everybody else. And once you get yourself in your rhythm, that'll carry you throughout the game. So he might get Alonzo ear, be like, bruh, I see you play. You play the game smart, but what you need to do is when they're giving you the shot, you go ahead and take that shot. You shown you can make it. Like, think about this. Out not just outside the locker room, because I believe George Hill is married too, so he's got a family. He understands the whole, because Lonzo is back with his girl, Denise, and everything. I don't know if you guys watch Ball and Family, but that whole thing with the kids, he understands that. He can relate to Lonzo in that way. He also can, relate to him on the basketball court. George Hill is going to be very valuable for him. Not just that, but let's talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker too. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is extremely aggressive, and sometimes he doesn't see the game because he's like a deer in the headlights. He's playing too fast. George Hill can see. George Hill is going to be able to balance those two players out. He's going to push Zoe to be more than what he was and make him more want to attack and be more aggressive. And he'll be able to be he'll be a place of comfort when it comes to like discussing like family issues, which is invaluable. And there's a trust there. On Nickeil Alexander's part, he'll be able to sit there and be like, "Hey man, look, you're a brilliant attacker, but you gotta learn to get your other teammates involved." He'd be like, "That's where you're slowing up at. That's where you're halting your game. If you want to take your game to the next level, you gotta learn to be a better facilitator. Use your offense." In the same way that Ja does to draw in defenses and then make the correct play. You don't have to be like Lonzo, have to pass people open. You don't have to be like him because that's not you. But play your game. Make your shots. Use your offensive gravity to help everybody else. And when you're in the starting lineup with me or with Zoe, take your shots. By all means, take your shots when it comes to you. But don't forget the rest of your teammates because we're going to be there to help you out or bail you out. That's important for a locker room. I'll say this. I didn't like the vets last year in totality. Like here and there, they were great, and I know the guys liked them. But my thing is like Udonis Haslam was somebody I mentioned in like a video or two ago, well at least like 3 videos ago, and I said he's like one of those locker room guys that he's invaluable to your team. You're not gonna play him, but he's gonna sit on your bench and he's gonna give your guys the game. He's gonna G them up. That's the kind of stuff you need that goes like very far on a lot of these teams, and like I think it's often understated and underappreciated how valuable a good vet is. Gilbert Arenas was talking about, Larry Hughes and some of the other vets he had, how valuable they were to him, like teaching him how to work out and take care of your body and stuff like that. One of the things they were talking about with CP3 yesterday, I think on the jump, is how he could teach you body maintenance because he's had his issues with it, and he could explain to the guys like this is how you take care of your body. I don't think because if you're a kid, you play ball. Most of us we play ball. When you're young, man, your diet is French fries and burgers, or chicken nuggets. McDonald's. That's what you do. When you're a pro or a professional and you're a young player, you have to get used to fueling your body a certain way. That takes time. That takes effort. That takes grooming. Lonzo would talk about how he saw LeBron and these other guys come in and manufacture a deal with their body, and he changed it because of them. Now, he's a much better player. He's kind of a vet in a sense in that vein, but he's still young enough to need a vet. So, and same thing, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, this is going to be his second year. He's still going to have to develop a lot of this, and he wants to be great. Gentry talked about how he wanted to be great last year, and he can't rush it. George Hill will be valuable to balancing that out and getting the most out of him in that way. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to come in. He's going to see George Hill working, and George Hill's going to take him under his wing and be like, look, I got you. This is what we're going to do. We're going to change the diet. We're going to work on you. We're going to make sure you're in the gym every day. We're going to cut out all the other distractions and stuff. I'm going to make sure I'm going to link you up with my dietitian. person who I rely on to keep my health, and we're gonna make sure that you're eating right so that your performance on the court isn't struggling because you could go sit there and train your ass off, but if you're taking in the wrong fuel, it's not gonna benefit you. So these guys are going to be impactful. Speaking of, let's look at Zion. George Hill and them don't even have to play the same position to be a proper vet to Zion. Think about this, and I'm not saying, Drew and JJ and those other guys went in Zion's ear, but I think George Hill's going to come with a different kind of leadership that could relate more to Zion. He'd be like, "Look, man, let's work on your diet. You're a great player. You got all this talent that we would hate for you to like end up like some of these other guys like Greg Oden and stuff who got hurt, and couldn't play the game and missed out on so many opportunities, bro. If you 285, 300, we need to get you down 265, 260, 255. Here, let me grind with you. When you're going out to eat, let me be there with you, man. Let me push you to be great. I want you to be great. I want you to be great for this team. You're gonna be great for this league. I want to see you do great things. That type of stuff is needed, sorely needed in the league. And I think if it were up to me, if I were Adam Silver, and I'm gonna say something really radical here, I think I would ratify the requirement for the teams and allow them to have at least one or two vets that's strictly there for basically support over the young guys. And because they can do like the two-way things where you can sit there, you can play the G League and come up and play in the regular league. They need to be able to have spots dedicated specifically for the vets. The vets need to be taken care of in this league. And I get it, the young players come in and there's a few roster spots and they push some of the vets out, which hurts the game to some degree. But I would like to see them do something like that to protect the vets because vets are needed in the game. Even look at CP3, 36 years old. He was 35 last year, became an all-star, and he had that team, that OKC team that nobody thought was going to be good. I was one of the few that thought they would. He had them playing unbelievable at 36 years old. Now imagine, granted, that CP3 is a rare case, he's still good, but imagine if, it was just like, oh, well, we got to draft, Ja Morant, and now they're going to force Ja Morant to start over CP3. Granted, CP3, clearly was better. Yes, he was better than Ja Morant, sorry. That then he would, then CP3 would basically be getting out of the league, and he wouldn't be looked at the same way. So for me, if I was Adam Silver, I would create an initiative to have like at least one bench spot for a vet, and you could go over the salary cap for him. I think that would be like fantastic. But anyway, that's what I wanted to get out there, man. George Hill, more so than Eric Bledsoe for me. George Hill's a phenomenal locker room guy. I am glad to see that pickup, and I hope they don't flip George Hill. Like if they had to get rid of one of him or Bledsoe, I prefer to get rid of Bledsoe. Even though Bledsoe is like got all these defensive matrix and shit, and I get that, but to me, George Hill is that guy. I love George Hill. I think he needs to be in that locker room. I think he's going to do work for Lonzo and to kill Alexander Walker. And in the off chance that we don't make any more trades and we stay put, he could probably help Frank Jackson and some of those other guys too. But anyway, that's all I would say. Peace.